Hey folks, welcome back to Skyward Sword. We're here in the Lanayru Mining Facility. It's the third dungeon. And once again, we have another conveyor belt room of sorts to get through. And we'll have to use our wonderful patented time manipulation mechanics in order to figure them out. Just not get rid of those guys. I mean, you can easily, like, blow them off or something with the gust bellows, but that's simply less stylish. Speaking of stylish, you climbing off a Link. Yeah, I actually do like that they have environmental hazards of sorts that actually make it almost somewhat difficult to get through here if you're incredibly impatient like I am. And I suppose it could almost play into the stamina kind of mechanic, because you don't want to wait too long for it to go away or else you'll run out of stamina. But it's still pretty darn easy, so eh. Anyway, somewhere in this room there is a time shift crystal that we can find. And you can probably bet that it's under a large sum of sand, like that one over there. Yeah, the prizes in these sarcophagi, not so great. And lo and behold, there is indeed a time shift stone here. I don't know if you noticed, but there is a separate music track for when you go back to the past. Definitely sounds a lot cooler, I think. And if you peer down there, we have another bit of ancient Hylian text. There's actually a good fair bit of it there, and some of it is pretty small and kind of hard to read. But it says, "Gate open, belt conveyor system alright." So basically it just means that the conveyor belts are now activated once again, and we can use them for our own gains. Anywho, now that we've activated the system, we can grab a ton of bombs. Jesus Christ, that's a lot of bombs. But we can also start using these gondolas. And you know me, I love these gondolas. I mean, they're not difficult in any way, but they're so cool. Look at that. Hella cool. Anyway, that'll pull the gondola to your side if you so desire. If it somehow gets trapped in the middle and you don't. And we got another one of these dudes. Kind of lost their charm after the second one. Especially since probably won't be able to grab many of the rupees that this guy drops either. And unfortunately, fighting them is pretty slow, as you've noticed. And he's just ignoring me. Look at that prick. Okay, there we go. I mean, I always have grievances with enemies that you have to wait for them to attack you in order to attack them. Or, like, have to wait for them to create an opening or something of that sort. I like bosses that you can just wail on, and most enemies that fall into that category as well. Anyway, this is a neat puzzle, but I'm not entirely sure exactly how intuitive it is. There's one little intricacy that makes it a little confusing, and to this day I'm not actually sure which of the two possibilities that it actually falls under. But I'll explain that when I get to the other side of the room. I do like that you had to use the gondola while you're not standing on it in order to make it accessible. I think that's a clever way to do things. Alrighty, so over on this side we can move this box so that we can use that ladder. And then head over on this gondola. And, do you see the puzzle yet? There's a clear reflection, or parallel, or something of that sort, between this wall and the wall opposite it that had the various numbers of squares on the wall. And as you can see, there are switches behind each of these sarcophagi. Now, I'll admit, I have no idea whether you're supposed to hit them in the same order that you see on the other side, or in the mirrored order. Like, are you supposed to... The one that is furthest to the exit of the room corresponds to that, or are you supposed to take one as if it's stage left or stage right, or I don't know. If I'm making it confusing for you, good, because I'm confused. So the order on the side, the original side, was 2, 3, 1, because 23 is number 1, of course. So I initially tried doing the reverse here, so like having the 1 match up horizontally to the one that was the 1 from a bird's eye view, and I don't know if that's going to work. I don't think it does. Oh yes, it does, okay. So I think you are supposed to match it from a bird's eye view. It's confusing, it's not really clear. All it does is waste time if you screw it up, so I can't complain too much. And I really do like the idea, but I just find it a little bit weird and confusing. Anyway, you remember these guys. We had 1 at a time before. Now there's 2 in the same room, but if you're crafty, you'll only activate 1 of them at a time. Because if you try to deal with 2 of them at once, that'll be a little bit of a butt for you. Oh yeah, and sometimes they're lazy. They're like, no, I'm not going to deal with you anymore. And as you can see, I am in a dangerous situation. And I don't remember if I have a fairy. Do I have a fairy, everybody? Do I have a fairy? Or do I just have potions? I should probably check. I should probably use some sort of healing implement. Past Stealth, what are you doing? Are you trying to be risky and dangerous and stylish? Is that what you're doing? Anyway, you may have noticed, I didn't really point it out, one of those crystals is an outstuck tongue, so it's easy to slash, but one is more inside, so you have to stab in. And stabbing is one of those things that people complain about being too hard to do. And in these situations, I do find it a little bit frustrating. I think part of it is the angle that you approach the enemy from. Anyway, there's our boss key. So now we can head over to the boss door, as long as it's in the past, and get access to the boss. Like a boss. Anyway, Link, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm not sure what I'm doing. I guess this might be a possible way over to the exit. I don't know. Oh yeah, looks like it. Okay. Yeah, the exit is on the bottom floor there. So you'll have to go across this conveyor belt in order to get there. Anyway, yeah, you see these air vent, or air holes or whatever, on the conveyor belts. I have never had trouble with them, like hitting me while I'm running, unless I'm being a big idiot. So I don't know if it just has to do with when you start running, or what. Seems like that's too much trial and error. Anyway, one last minecart shenanigan here. Down one of these moving ones. But now we have to combine the gondola with the minecart while dodging the airstreams. It's nerve-wracking, it's tricky, you can't go too fast, but you can't go too slow either. I really like it. Anyway, this minecart eventually will get to the boss door and open it up. And now, we can see what lurks inside. Almost there, got it. And here we go, here's the boss. Now, if you were paying attention to the Skyward Sword pre-release, like, information, footage, trailers, and whatnot, you might be a little confused, because in the trailers, this guy, Moldark, was actually demonstrated as being in a forest area, and I think he was actually in a playable demo in a forest area. But, no siree, he is actually in a desert. I think that's a better way to describe it. Anyway, Moldark is basically the closest thing we have to Goma in this game. You got an arachnid of some sort, and claws, one larger than the other, and eyes are involved, and just overall, very Goma-like in everything but name. Moldark will rotate their claws and open it to strike, and also, yeah, that. Oh, I see, I'm trying to be stylish and get through the whole dungeon without healing. That's what I'm trying to do. And I remember, it doesn't really work out for me. But anyway, once you take care of the claws, the eye on the torso will open up. And once you hit that, it will hide underground, and you'll have to use the item in the dungeon in order to find it. I think that's clever. Although it can be a little frustrating if you really lose track of it, trying to find it in the heat of battle, and it gets a little tedious, can kind of kill the flow. And sometimes it's finicky about how it wants to do things. No, Link, you were so close. I think he has like one hit left. Oh well. Okay, 2 hits left. And apparently, yeah, he summons little baby scorpions too, but they are not an issue at all. Man, look at those sand physics. Beautiful. And that's that. Overall, a pretty darn easy boss, I think. It doesn't really have many, like, desperation attacks that can do much damage to you. Never really catches you off guard, it's not too fast. But again, if you suck at doing certain types of slashes, I imagine you could have some trouble. Especially if you stuck at stabbing. Stabbing is one of the best things ever, so you should work on that. Anyway, as always, we get a heart container. Where does it all go? I don't understand. Anyway, like I was saying, as always, we get a heart container. Very useful, very nice. And we're finally on our second line of hearts. That means we have over half of the hearts in the game already. Crazy. Anyway, I kind of lied when I said it was one last minecart shenanigan. We got one last one here. And this is such a clever way to use Mr. Bug. Because look at this. Even though it's essentially the same puzzle we've seen before, it's a really great bird's eye view of this whole hallway. And then, we're going to go through it again on the bottom level, and it's going to be stylish in that way as well. Man, I love riding the minecarts. It's so cool. Anywho, after this minecart ride, we have a somewhat lengthy cutscene, and that will finish off the episode. So I'm going to take this opportunity to say goodbye, and I will see you guys next time. But I highly recommend you stay for the cutscene, because shit's about to go down. See ya.
Hmm?